107.1 FM. You are listening to the hit music radio station.
Keep your dial fixed on 107.1 FM. The passion for broadcasting.
Good morning, Monrovia. Good morning, Abel. Good morning, Robert Field. Good morning, Robert Sport. Good morning, Toyota. Good morning, Salala. Good morning, Macaque City. Good morning, Tottenberg. Good morning, Clay. Good morning, Bo Waterside. Good morning, Riverside. Good morning, Bapulu. Good morning, Buchanan. Good morning, Lark. Good morning, Cowell. Good morning, Brewerville, Virginia, Camp David. My River Edge, just 6:50 on the Monday morning on Sky 107.1 FM with this topic. President Joseph Nyumah Boakai Unity Party government is exactly 6 months in office today. But what has Boakai's government been able to accomplish in 6 months' time? What are the deliverables in 6 months' time? Special studio guest Kula Fofana, Presidential Press Secretary to the President of the Republic of Liberia. By 11 o'clock, our lines will be open, so we urge you to call us on those numbers on 0777-777-107, or you call us on 0777-221-223. Use our Facebook page, Sky Communications Liberia. My name is Timas, of course. I'm the only grandson of my grandfather. And 50-50, you just can't beat the experience. We'll be back right after the theme song.
After being in the business for more than 20 years, Uptown Garage has all it takes to make your car work best for you. Uptown Garage has all sizes of quality tires. We also have the efficient and long-lasting Uptown batteries. Uptown Garage also have a state-of-the-art 2020 Garage has a professional electrician who is up to the task of programming and solving all electrical problems on your car. Uptown Garage is at the intersection of Broad and Nelson Streets with the Uptown Spare Parts Store on Broad Street. We also have our garage and showroom at Rehab for original spark plugs from Japan, oil filters, engine oil, and everything you need to get your car working perfectly. Come to Uptown Garage. We'll give you 1 month warranty. Uptown Garage also have a tow truck that can tow your car anywhere for a fee. Contact Uptown Garage headquarters on 0777 553317, 0886 553317, or our rehab branch on 0770 902865. Uptown Garage, your 100% Liberian-owned business, is here to put a smile on your face.
Hey, Tanu, what happened to you so?
Julie, I worry. I need to pay McDonald's school fee first thing tomorrow morning. And today is Sunday. I finish and get worse.
But there's no problem there at all. It's possible you can still pay it tomorrow.
Lord, I tell you, I'm not joking. If you can't help me, tell me alone.
Yeah, I can help you. Let me ask you, have you heard about EcoBank Money Emergency Number?
You say what? Just leave me alone. I'm telling you, I need to pay my money tomorrow morning first thing. And then be open way Hey, Nano Clark, it can help me.
But you're not even going to the bank, Tanu. All you have to do is to dial *326# and request for 50% of your salary. You will pay EcoBank back within 30 days, and the interest are only 3%. The money will be sent to your account in a minute, and you can use your ATM card to withdraw it from any EcoBank ATM.
Dalame, you mean I'll get it the same day?
Oh yes, instantly. I mean, in a minute. But to you, EcoBank that baby.
I say so.
Oh, I beg you, yeah. EcoBank can make things happen sharp. For any money emergency, just dial *326# to help yourself out.
EcoBank, the Pan African Bank.
Thank you very much. You're back on 50/50 on the Monday morning on Sky 107.1 FM. Two newspapers. They got a new newspaper here. They call it the Verity newspaper. Let me give you the banner headlines of the news. The new Verity newspaper. The front page and the back pages of the two newspapers. Let's begin with Verity, saying is the newest girl on the block. Nepotism, conflict of interest, Chief Justice daughter on Supreme Court payroll. Her name is S.A.M. Nyemplu Willie. She salary is $2,500. That's what the paper says. Her photo is here as well as her mother's photo with the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. President Biden bows out of the presidential contest, endorses Kamala Harris. Since President Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1968, Joe Biden has abandoned his re-election campaign. We move forward. Technology. Tech revolution page in Bikers virtual meeting with billionaire Elon Musk. It said Musk, during the conversation, highlighted the Starlink program, the satellite internet constellation operated by Starlink Services, LLC, which currently covers 80 countries. Big news. Workers of Mano Oil Palm exploited US $5 million wage theft. It said documents in our possession reveal that the company was not supposed to reduce workers' salaries after taking over. However, it failed to adhere to this agreement, resulting in $5 million in unpaid wages owed the workers. The back page of Validity says St. Mary's Catholic Schools Alumni Association holds homecoming program. Rampant illegal logging poses danger to Nyumah County. It says the illegal harvest of banana trees by Greenwood Resource Logging Company is poised to put serious risk to the integrity of the East Nyumah Nature Reserve. 27 workers defrauded in salary under Representative Marvin Cole's mandate. This paper has discovered that the CSA is currently investigating the corruption scandal involving the fraudulent downsizing of 27 workers at the Capitol building under the mandate of Representative Marvin Cole. That will do for the Verity newspaper. Let's move on to the front page newspaper. It says, taking a bow from Liberia's finance minister, Dr. Anthony Sayed, to retire as deputy managing director of the International Monetary Fund. Celebrating excellence, President Boakai awards Ambassador Witherspoon's Liberia's largest honor, Knight Grand Band, for extensive research in enhancing Liberia's Barbados relations. A hard 26 citizens decry hardship in first 6 months of Boakai's Khan administration urged government to improve ordinary lives. Chief Justice Sianayo threatens action against legislature executive for alleged failure to adhere to budget law constraints to take action. We hope that this situation be addressed immediately by the President of Liberia as head of the government and the leadership of the legislature to avoid a constitutional crisis, as this branch will not accept such treatment of indifference and imposition of co-equals of government. Siena, yo, Chief Justice Republic of Liberia. A photo is here. So also there's the photo of JMB, the President of Liberia, and J. Fanati Kofa, the Speaker of the Honorable House of Representatives. This year, 26 Independence celebration has many scratching heads. This year, 26 Independence celebration has many scratching heads amid rising strain, challenging bread and butter issue, while the economy is sluggish. This action by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has many implications for the economy because Liberia is a service merchandising economy. Government spending is key to stimulating spending, protecting jobs in the public and private sector, and providing a livelihood for many disadvantaged in society. Public Accounts and Audit Committee, Liberian Senate. On the flip side of that, it said last year, July 26th, and this year cannot be comparable because some of us who had who had people working in government used to see the light before the day. Bag of rice and oil used to be given to our people to share with us. But this year, we are yet to see, we are yet to seeing that. Maybe things will be good before the day, but up to now, we have seen no light. It is frustrating from what we are seeing. Abigail Miller, businesswoman and biker supporter. Man waiting for a lady. FC Facel CEO to construct $4.5 million sport stadium. Those are the stories in the paper today. The editorial says lawmakers, not noisemakers, a caution to members of the House of Representatives. Lawmakers, not noisemakers, a caution to members of the House of Representatives. Let's get to what we're here for. Very, very important. Joseph Nyumah Boakai is 6 months old today, meaning he and his children, his family, is 6 months old today. The $1 million question is, he's 6 months old, so what? He was elected to be president of the Republic of Liberia, and so he is, and to run the government. So I've called his press secretary, Madam Honorable Kula Fofana. You said Boakai his government is 6 years, is 6 months in office today. What are Boakai's government being able to achieve? What are the deliverables? Good morning, Kula.
Good morning, Mr. Jalate. How are you this morning?
Our people used to say women grow older faster than men. You don't seem to be that. What's the trick? What's the trick?
Well, the bottom line is you just have to take good care of yourself.
Good care of yourself.
You drink water, mind your business, do what you're supposed to do, and you'll be fine,
No matter what you do, people will still say all kind of things.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I don't get bothered what people say because people will have different impression about me, and I don't intend to be the saint, and so do what you have to do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me, I have a mantra of life that just make sure you're convinced,
your conscience is clear
in your action that what you're doing is the right thing, and that you do no harm. That's fundamental for many things. And once you're doing your dues, I mean, being who you are, at the end of the day, when you look at your actions, when you look at your interaction, be okay. Once you're okay with that, because it's you, every other thing is secondary. So sometimes, and what I've come to realize, people action towards you may not necessarily be because of you. Sometimes people are projecting themselves, some of their things on you. So you have to be able to discern and say, hi, this kind of energy, I don't think I'm the cause. So let me just, find something to do or put myself in a situation. So you just be calm and assess situation and react or respond wherever you are. So that's the mantra. Live
Judging
loud
from your
and
mantra, Bracket says you people that 6 months at the executive mansion.
Mhm.
Show me what you've done in 6 months.
Well,
We got a lot of stuff,
oh,
a
absolutely.
a lot of line to look at.
Mhm.
I want you to look at what you've done, what you've started, what is left to be done.
First of all, let me again thank the Liberian people who trooped in 6 months ago
Mhm.
to create a change. And I like to remind the Liberian people that the reasons for which they stood in lines, they walk in dirty waters, they did a lot of things. Some people did the personal sacrifices for President Boakai to become president today. Those reasons still remain very valid, and President Boakai still remains very committed to ensuring that those promises he made to the Liberian people, he will execute them. And in the first 6 months of his administration, of being president, because I remember January 22nd,
Mhm.
2024, 6 months ago, that day was a very sober day for some of us. I couldn't believe, that, what we fought for is finally coming to pass. And being in the administration, I can tell you that this president that Liberians voted for is still committed to working for the Liberian people, still committed to achieving what he wants to achieve. Now, when you're 6 months old, for mothers, you understand when a child is 6 months old, the child is pretty much still trying to understand the world around her
Mhm.
or him. Now, I'm a mother with kids, and I understand what it means. At this point in 6 months, you're seated, you're trying to crawl, you're trying to see everything and hang on them. I'm just saying this to mean that, the government is in the stead, and the president is very committed. He's done a lot of things. And some of the things, and you will be surprised that in 6 months, in most other countries or other places, even for us in Liberia, it will be challenging for a government to achieve. Yes, there will always be challenges. And the most important thing is to be able to learn from the challenges to make sure you're getting, on the right trajectory. So, specifically, 6 months, we've been able to, for the first time in Liberia, after the 14 years of civil conflict, to be able to finally reach a point and say, let's put pen to paper. Let's not just leave it hanging. And President Boakai did that. The Office of War and Economic Crimes Court
Hmm.
establishment. That's a major achievement, Mr. T Max, especially within 6 months. Other people will say, oh, let's just wait. We're ready yet. There are other priorities. But hey, this war crimes court have been one of the biggest elephant in the room. Everyone try to scare people. Oh, war
Mhm.
crimes court. Oh, this is going to happen. But President Boakai said, hey, Liberians need closure. Let's do it. And he
What did he
did
do?
that.
What did he do? This issue has been a troubling issue.
Exactly.
It's been a political issue, and people looking at political alignments.
Mhm.
I said, come on, that's not a way to go. Why did he do it?
Because President Boakai feels and believes and thinks it's the right thing to do. At the end of the day, in fact, a lot of times when he meets international partners and they're talking about issues relating to the rule of law and this subject comes up, he tells them plain and clear that I am committed to doing this, not to appease international partners, not to appease anyone else, but because of the Liberian people. And this is the right thing to do. And President Baga have always said this. He's always been very clear about the issues of war and economics crime court. And doing this was one of his major things that he wants to do. And he'll be finished with that. The other thing is, T-Max, Liberia is a very challenging place. And people who do not know President Boakai is someone when he says something, he means it.
Is he a stubborn
And
person?
in a good way.
In a good way, it's a stubborn. I don't care
Because I don't
who
care.
sides with him. He's gonna do what he's gotta do.
In fact, he will tell you in your face that I hear you, I understand what you're saying, but this is where I'm gonna go. I'm saying this to bring us to the issue of the roads.
Mhm.
In 2017, his platform was on roads. He says, I'm gonna do roads. I don't care what I say, because he believes that roads connect to everything.
Mhm.
Roads connect to education. Because, for example, in Liberia, there are parts of this country that has been impossible for people to access. How will even people be able to go to places to even monitor what's happening in the schools if there's no roads? Even healthcare have not been able to reach everywhere. How can people access those? Even commerce, the economy. If people cannot go to places, if businesses, goods and services cannot move around using roads, it becomes challenging. For example, typical thing, our staple food, rice. In Monrovia, because the port is here, the people who import them, they're here. Monrovia, you will get it cheaper. But if you go the farther you go, because the road is difficult, the dirt road is challenging, and then the farther you go, the more
The
expensive
more
it
expensive it
becomes.
becomes.
In transportation, gasoline from here to Dupo Road Junction is straight road. But you can compare that the same distance in the counties and other places will be expensive because of roads. So he sees everything rises and falls on roads. So when he got to the presidency, he says, this arrest agenda, yes, we have to feed ourselves on agriculture. But when we do agriculture, we need roads. We need to be able to carry food and people back and forth. And that's why in his first 100 days, he made the pronouncement that he doesn't want any car to get stuck in the mud. He didn't say that because he just wanted to say something, but he meant it. And today, we have not done everything 100%, but at least there are places where people used to go to other countries to have access to parts of the country. But today, they are able to leave from Montserrat, leave from Monrovia, and go to the southeast and go to
Why the
Grand Chile.
southeast?
Well,
I would have thought. Come, I want to be frank with you, Kula. Except I'm from Grand Cru. But if the Lothar Road was as bad as the Grand Cru Road has been 6 years ago, I would have concentrated on.
oh no!
Why is it politically motivated?
No!
Why
In
is he
fact-
concentrating in the southeast as compared to other roads?
Oh no! In fact, right now as we speak, the roads in Lofa have also been paved. Part of it, especially in showing that they're passable during the rain season. In fact, there are places clear. From here, you can actually from here go to Vonjama, you go to Foya, you go to Kolahun. You know, the roads are in very good conditions. Likewise, the southeast. Likewise, Granji there. And one of the other thing, right now, Central Liberia is the next target, you know, in other parts. So the roads right now, you know, the rain season, he always says.
So when GMP was talking about no cars will get stuck, he was talking about the rural Liberia.
Oh yeah,
because that what you have all the challenges.
In fact, I remember the first time I went to Maryland, Timat, it was very challenging to go there. In fact, the vehicle at the time we're doing the Vision 2030 process, engaging the communities. If you see the road is so bad, even my county, Grand Cape Mount, if you leave from Sinje, for example, to go to a place called Tan in Golakone, during the rain season, those roads are very bad. Very, very bad. You know, even from TNE from TNE to Mana River during the rain season, before you get to Jenewene, it's horrible sometimes. And even if you leave from TNE to go to Gbese, to go all the way to Kenema, or even to Dia, those roads can be horrible. So when President Boakai says, I want this country to be open up, I want this country. You know, people who live in the West and other places, I'm sure T-Max, you've traveled places, and I've traveled other places. People leave from New York, for example. People living in New Jersey and they're working in New York. Different states.
2 hours difference.
Yes, people get on the train to go there. People drive to go to work. Some people just get on the train. You have representatives and senators leave from one place using trains, using roads, using vehicles. What's the reason? Using public transportation, using buses, because they have roads. Imagine if we had the country open. You know, from here to Cape Mount is not far. It's less than 2 hours from here to Sinji. From here to Robertsville is less than 2 hours. But if the roads were very good, people can live in the counties and come to Montserrat to work. Likewise, people can live in Montserrat and go to the counties to work. You can have that transition, transportation, movement. And that's why the president focused on that. And in the first 100 days, He commissioned the process and the road process started, especially to ensure that the dirt road, I hear people say, oh, $22 million. No, there was no, what was used was less than $10 million. If you listen to the public works minister.
The minister told me it was
Yes. $8.9 million.
$8.9 million.
Yes. And that process was for roads to be passable during the course of the rain. And then during the course of this time, you have contractors stationed on those corridors to make sure those places are open. So roads was a key part. Also, if you look at the people, the government formation,
the formation of the government,
President Boakai have been able to bring in a lot of diversity. Young people. Today, people who are in the forefront of the struggles are now heads of institutions. They're leading those institutions to create those change that they want to create. You have, and this is the first time you have a woman that's the Minister of Defense, a very military-based system. Other places, it's very, even Africa. You have President Boakai doing that. You have women serving at the highest level of the government, at ministerial levels. You have young people in the system. You have people with disability at a higher decision-making level of institutions. So just within 6 months, T-Max.
Is Boakai liking to Talbot?
Well,
guy who was in the wilderness after the death of Todman came and sort of revolutionized Liberia. Is Boakai liking to that? Is it from the old order of the guys from Talbot days and try to reinvent the wheel of what Talbot did?
Well, I mean,
the speed at which he's going.
President Boakai understands governance. And the good thing about President Boakai, he's someone who's been in the system. And he's someone who's never lived, for the most part of his life, out of Liberia. He goes somewhere, he's right back. He comes back because he wants Liberia to be developed. Whether he can be likened to Talbot, he's someone of his own vision, of his own mind. Yes, Liberian history. Yes, you learn. They say you learn from the old, areas, and to make sure you don't make the same problems or challenges. But I can tell you, President Boakai is a kind of leader who believes in action, who believes in work, who's ensuring that everything will work as is planned. And that's what he's committed to from day one. And that's what he's continuing to work for the Liberian people as they wholeheartedly voted for him and inaugurated him on January 22nd.
So if you look at the road percentage-wise, the road rehabilitation, he must have gone pretty close to about 40 or 60% of that. Judging from the worst part, I'm from Grand Cru and from the Southeast. For so many years, we're deprived. And the worst was in 2023 when people, unfortunately, if you have the money to go through Ivory Coast to enter it was very
even
horrible.
people normally used to go through Sierra Leone as well, and it's a challenge, I wouldn't want to say, because what has happened, they're all temporary, especially to ensure that the roads are passable and to ensure that the dirt is there to compact them. Those are short-term plan. The long-term plan is to have quota on those roads.
Wow.
In fact, what has happened in a very short period, you remember when we took over, when President Boakai took over, you had lots of roads in Monterrado, for example, or even in Pinsville. That corridor between ERWA Junction to RIA, as well as ERWA Junction to Red Light. It was very challenging. And the contractors were very slow. They were being delayed unnecessarily. A lot of things were happening during that time. But when President Boakai came and his team asked the critical questions, called the contractors, what's going on, what the problem, why is this not happening, what's the plan? And you have to do your duties. You have to do what you have to do. And they had the contractors on their toes. That's why you saw the speed at which those contractors started to do their work.
So were they afraid that Boakai would take the contract from them, or what was that?
You just have a serious government in place, that the Ministry of Public Works, because when President Boakai lives on that side, and these days now, when he going to home, he coming to work, he wouldn't go through the back road now no more. He go through the main corridor because he wants to make sure that sanity is restored. Even the people who were selling in the streets, now you should go there, to be able to ensure, because, one thing about us T-Max as Liberians, we want the change. When you ask a Liberian to tell you what kind of Liberia we want, oh, we want a beautiful Liberia. We want a Liberia the roads are paved. We want a Liberia with electricity on the streets. We want a Liberia that we have water running. We have this. But we the same Liberians,
We don't want to sacrifice.
we don't want to leave the streets when we sell them, when they say leave the street. But we want a clean street. We want lights on the street. How are the people going to work? We build in alleys. We don't want the road to open because it's my property. We build on waterways. When the water come, we don't want the place to be open. And we want the street. We don't want the sewage to be all over the city. But our structures are there. We don't want to. So we need to come. And this one is just beyond the politics of things. If you build on the sewage line, how do you think the sewage supposed to have access to go through? Of course, whatever residue comes, they're going to go right back in the street. So we have to make that sacrifice. And when the government says we're going to take this action, we need a government. In fact, the other day, the president went when he was going to Abuja, he transited through Togo. Interestingly, T-Max, in the street, you see motorcyclists
In
and
Togo,
passengers.
there are a lot.
Everybody had
From
their
Togo to
helmet.
Berlin, that route is
Two helmets, passenger helmet and the driver helmet. And you won't see any police officer to say you can't access this one because you don't have helmet. Naturally, the people themselves, police people don't have, police got a lot of things to do than to enforce helmet, stuff. So these things, we Liberians need to start having a conversation. Are we really serious about
the change we
the
want.
change we want? Let it start with us. And President Boakai, I can tell you, he's very committed to transforming this country. Every time you sit with him, he will tell you, T-Max, my interest is to solve this problem. I'm old. I've lived my life. All of the thing I intend to do now is to leave a legacy for the generations of Liberians unborn.
Legacy after two terms.
When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Let's look at governance. Because it's a lot of talk about series about this done, and people looking at all this, and that forms in governance and the rule of law. What is he getting at? I thought a lot of guys, a lot of people were of the opinion that Boakai takes over. The price of rice from $15 from $17 would drop to $10. The gallon of gas will be $250. Hey, he's doing this audit. What is the bearing? What does he want to get informed from the audit so as to jump on the economy? What is the bearing?
Well, I can tell you, T-Max, that on the aspect of the economy, a lot has happened, especially where we came from. And interestingly, this regime, President Boakai, within the period of 6 months, when we came in, there were all this noise around, the people about to put the price of rice high. And he took a stand and said, this is not going to happen, not under my watch. And now he's been able to maintain the price of rice as it is. Even when you look at the exchange rate, normally in this kind of situation, when new government coming, everybody trying to hike prices, ensuring that exchange rate is so high, he's managed to ensure that exchange rate is stable. And all those different things. And you listen to the Ministry of Finance, there have been an increment on the issue of our fiscal side. And things within the economy, they will get structured. Yes, I mean, the expectations, of course, of Liberians are really high, as always, as understandable. But rice price have not increased. Gasoline price, in fact, have reduced to an extent. And just yesterday, I was able to buy gas for around $740. Yeah,
Okay.
$740, $720, depending on where you are. Like you go towards the Bravo end when I spoke to you yesterday, So the stabilization is happening. And one thing I can assure you, especially on the issue of bread and butter, because a lot of times people talk about the economy. I mean, you cannot intellectualize hunger. You cannot intellectualize
romanticize it.
people. Exactly. People,
People hungry, they're hungry.
Exactly. However, I can say that with clear certainty that President Boakai is very committed to making sure that the price of rice is not only stabilized, but sufficiently reduced in a way where we ourselves are able to also produce. He's from a school of thought that this importation, in fact, in the meeting with the importers, he was very angry. He wasn't happy. He was not one of the, you didn't want to see him in that mood. He wasn't happy at all that all of this year we will be celebrating 177 and we still importing
Can't
the
feed
country.
ourselves.
We still importing the country staple after all these years. He wants to change that. In fact, when he got in, he set up a rice committee, and this committee is working to make sure that there's stabilization, but there's also more on the production side. In fact, the Minister of Agriculture recently, along with the President and the Minister of Agriculture family, launched the Liberians Feed Yourself platform. That agenda, part of the agenda of their rest agenda, because agriculture is the key pillar within their rest agenda to feed ourselves. And that agenda was launched by the president. And within that, even as we speak, there are lots of things happening. When the president also went to Korea, South Korea, he had a conversation with some people interested in the rice area. There have been a lot of engagement when it comes to the issue of rice in our staple. And not only rice, the agriculture, the whole value chain of production and what we can do, how we can feed ourselves, but also the diversification of other things. Cassava, we grow cassava here. In fact, interestingly, that this remind me of a conversation just the other day when I was with the chief trying to brief him. He showed me a video of cassava production, and he has that video. He's had that video for a long time. He says he wants to show this video to farmers so they can see the value chain, what they make cassava out of. People make cassava out of many things: starch, liquor, sweets, like a whole long list of different things. And that is his idea, how we can industrialize this sector. There, in fact, right now, prior to now, the Minister of Agriculture and his team, they had a visit in Western Liberia. They went to Cape Mount, the Bapolu and Bomi to meet with farmers, engage them, and say, let's invest in the soil.
The reason why I liking JMB to Tobo was that Tobo was under Tottenham for 27 years. He's been there quietly. Nobody knew that he could be that innovative as he was before his death. GMB have been with Ellen Johnson Shirley. He's been with Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of... why did he start this sort of stuff? Is it based on the team and leadership of the country at the time to have this thing, which we call easily accomplished?
Well, I mean, T-Max, when you're vice president, you're in a different space. And especially
Are you executive errand boy?
Again, when you're vice president,
executive errand boy.
Exactly, primarily.
That's what you are.
You are primarily the errand boy for the president.
I want to take that job. I want to take that job.
I mean, because it's a good thing though, because it gives you an opportunity. It's a learning curve. It gives you an opportunity to advise quietly behind the scene and say, let's do it this way. It gives you an opportunity to engage, to do a lot of other things behind the scene and speak to the president and give your own opinion and thought. By the end of the day, you are the vice. You can't do anything until the president tells you, go this way. So, I mean, but now that he has the authority, he has the opportunity to serve. All those learning curves from the Ministry of Agriculture, from different facets he was able to galvanize, from being vice president to the presidency. It's a very important... He
has an omnivorous understanding as to the magnitude of the problems.
The magnitude of the problems and where because at the end of the day, when President Boakai says road, he didn't just say it because this is someone who traveled through Liberia. This is someone who have family members and friends and people every part of this country. And he knows what the challenges are. They tell him, he sees it. And he knows our beginning standpoint is let's do the roads. Let's open up the country. Let's do food. Let's feed ourselves. He wants, if he talks about sports, in fact, his whole idea on youth engagement and sport, particularly, especially on the county meet.
I don't like him with his relationship with Arsenal. I don't
that one I have to say. But on the issue of the sports, he's taking. That's why when I tell people, you really don't know President Boakai until you get to know him. For the issue of the county meet, he told them the county meet idea is to have the young people from the county
Represent the county.
represent the county and compete from the county, so that at the end of the day, the people in the counties will know the young people, their brothers, will relate to them. I want to be like this person. When you're from Cape Mount, come from Cape Mount to play for Cape Mount. When you're from Nimba, come from Nimba to play for Nimba. That was the essence of the county. I mean, for the most part, that's why he believes that the county. And when he talks about opening up the country right now, he has a brilliant idea on. In fact, he talked about the need for communications in all of the counties, particularly television station. You know, when you do television, you do radio. So LBS now has a major tax. President Boakai wants to make sure that every county has
But
the
LBS should not-
state of the art.
LBS should not compete with us.
Of course, private. So
let's
that's
get,
what competition does.
let's get to audit.
Yes.
There has been a cry of people say the audit, the exercise is witch hunting, and that the previous government, we as government, did not audit GMB's alien government. Why is the audit so important? Did we all make a mess or make a unforgivable mistake without auditing GMB and his group? And now GMB is auditing him.
So, here's my thoughts on audit. And people think that audit is to target a specific person or specific group of people. But audit is a mark of accountability. And it's not just by you or because it is you, but it's important in everything that there is audit, not just because I'm not going to audit you because I like. It's not about loving or liking or not liking you, but it's about telling the story of the government. Is history. Audit is history. It's like, what did you meet?
It's a diagnosis of situation.
And it tells you this is where we are as a country. And to be able to get to the other point, we need to know what we're dealing with, so that at the end of the day, you know what decisions to make. When you audit an institution, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's corruption, because we've made it so much, like a way that when people, you say audit, there's a perception that there's corruption. It's possible that there's no corruption, but it's just to audit to make sure that you did the right thing.
But why are people afraid of auditing?
In fact, what normally happens when the audit is conducted and concluded, there are recommendations. For example, if there's system audit, they audit like Sky FM. They say Sky FM want to do a holistic audit of Sky FM, audit your personnel, audit your material, audit your system. If you do not have a proper accounting system in place, you put accounting system in place. If the equipment you are using, they're not state of the art or they're not most recent, they say there's a recommendation that you use the most recent. All those different things. It helps strengthen the institution. So people, the goal of audit is not necessarily to find corruption and to hold you and stuff, but it's to tell a full story of what it is and how you can recommend to put system in place so that the government can move. So the audit that the president initiated, or he requested the GAC to do, there are many audits. And I mean, I've heard a lot of time people say, oh, the president is not auditing President Weah, and why former President Weah, and why this is. Audit takes time. And their procedures. You don't just go and say, oh, we assume or we hear that, oh, President Weah did this, or the former President Weah did it, or these people did it. Y'all go for President Weah. No. And President Weah was not an institution of his own, but he led through structures. So, for example, the commission audit of the Ministry of State. So you audit everything. You commission EPS audit is just out. The minister, the president just received some audit reports from the GAC, about 47 or so of them, to be able to review them and then make recommendation. So there has been, those systematic things happening, and at the end of the audit, actions will be taken.
Does he read the reports himself?
Oh, absolutely. So normally what happens, because sometimes the audit reports are of different wavelengths. Some audits are specific to a specific project and to a specific institution, and sometimes those audits, they're in volumes. So normally he will ask his legal team or others to say, review this and provide a key point. They, see, some of which he may have interest in, he will say, I want to see this, even though yes, you said this, but let me see what the content is, and all of that. So he has different ways in which he can do that. So right now, because the audit came in very recent, the reports came in very recently, and they're working on to set up this team so that they're able to provide recommendation on how to move forward on these. But I can tell you for sure that the president is very committed to working for the Liberian people, and specifically on audit. He's going to make sure. That's why he, as soon as he got in, he said, let's audit. Let's know what he says. Like, let's know what we met, so that when we leave it, we can say what we did and what we are leaving, so that at the end of the day, the Liberian people can say, oh yes, this was what at least this audit recommended, so and so we've put this. So by the time our democracy is strengthening, you don't need to start talking about systems. You don't need to start when T-Mac is leaving an agency. You doesn't have to carry the mics and everything. And the new government doesn't have to come and buy new mic and all that, or chairs. You go to offices, no vehicles, no computers, like those basic things. You shouldn't be leaving government institution. Normally in the States and other places, when you're leaving, when you fire or you leave, you just take your little box with your papers and your backpack and you're out. You leave chairs, whatever you met there. Because it's not your property, it's the property of the state.
Okay.
That should be protected.
Our time is almost up. Before we take that break, about 3 days to the celebration of Jose Nyumah Boakai's 6 months in office. He made this. He had this visual discussion with this, the world's richest person. How did people get a contact with Elon Musk, and how? Because I never thought Boakai would have that sort of extension too. It's not in that league. I thought he was not in that league. And to come to the champion of the league, how did he manage to do that?
You know, the league that President Boakai is in a league for hunting for the Liberian people. So wherever this hunter can find a road that will lead to what he wants to make his people feel happy and make his people life better, he will find that road. I say this to mean that yes, he had a very beautiful conversation with the world richest.
How he got there? That's my question. How did he get there?
I'm just telling you, it's not just him. He also did. You read the other time. He had a meeting with Dangote, Africa's richest as well, and he's speaking. And so he came to the presidency not by himself. He has a team of people around him. So if he tells you, T-Max, you are responsible for doing XYZ. Our goal is to make Liberia better. Our goal is to find resources, invest in different things, make our young people productive, give them work to do. Go, you are in the line of the foreign affairs. Go bring your foreign partners. You are in line for communication. Go bring the communicators. You are in line for all this food. Go bring food. Go find the funds. You come and fix our road. That's what a leader does. When you do that, you send your lieutenants out to go and fend. And they come, brings it, Dad, you send us to go hunt. We've caught some big fish. And this big fish today, we're going to feast on it.
So who caught the big fish? Who brought the fish to JMB?
Oh, at the end of the day, it's JMB who had it, who is in the power, and JMB who is the leader, and JMB who is the one who had it. It was a very good, and I know
what did they talk about?
Exactly. So that's why I was going to come. I really don't want us to overly hype my interest, like I told you the other day, is at the end of the day, when the result comes, it's what we all will be very happy. And for him, that's what he wants. Once the result, that's why these conversations, he had a meeting with Dangote. They talk about some very good things. I mean, the issue of the economy, some investments opportunity, speaking with Elon Musk. He's talking about internet connectivity, talking about Starlink and how they can come and connect our rural parts to the central system. At the end of the day, when those, things come back with the yielded result, then we can all celebrate.
Is that a plan for Musk making a visit to Liberia?
Oh, he invited, and I do know that their engagement ongoing as we speak, because Elon Musk is not just regular, he has a huge team, and I mean our team here, the foreign ministry, the mission in Doha, the mission in Monrovia as well. They're all working on different things, and they've been engaging. So he was invited as well. And the plans, when the president is supposed to go to the UN, sometime soon, there are plans to also have engagement on the sidelines with
Okay.
his team to see how hopefully one day we can have the visit of Elon Musk. I hear a lot of our people, others talking and making, it's just a casual conversation. Trust me. When
Big
you
things start from conversation.
Of course, and if you understand diplomacy, T-Max, sometimes all these big decisions that you see or hear, sometimes they start from that little chit chat, very little chit chat. People start having conversation behind the scene. Before you look, that's the decision. They made that decision, the casual conversation. But I can tell you, this conversation was not just a casual one. Presidents don't just engage in, hey, what's up? And with that one, I can tell you clearly that Elon Musk, our team, engaged and he agreed to meet with our president. And they met on actually what you saw the meeting. It was a virtual meeting on something called Google Teams. Microsoft has a platform called Teams that you can, back then during the COVID, people used to have Zoom meetings. You used to have, so it's like that. So this meeting was an online meeting, and interestingly, something.
It's a face-to-face meeting.
Yes, it's a face-to-face meeting. Something, if you can be there physically. And something people didn't know before we even put out the story was that meeting, this week have been very busy for the president. The 26th week, and that meeting was scheduled for Friday. And Friday he had the Muslim ceremony, the Thanksgiving ceremony for the country. And then after that, he had the investiture supposed to happen, the honoring. And then it was in between. He had left the mosque because the time difference between here and the US, they're different time zones. So he couldn't reach to the office to say we set it up on a computer and all that. So the other option was Google Team. They made it, Microsoft Team, they incorporated it in a way that you can do Zoom call on your phone, you can do Teams call on your phone. So that was how the call came in. While he was on his way to another event, to get ready for another event, the call came in. And of course he had to take that call. And that was a photograph we were able to capture. And it was good. Sometimes that's why you have a workaholic president back here, there, or Yana. So at the end of the day, we think one thing Liberians should be very thankful for. We have a leader who believes in Liberia. He goes to bed Liberia. He wakes up Liberia. That's why his mantra, I've always said, let's think Liberia, let's love Liberia, and together we will build Liberia.
Before we take that break, it's unprecedented to see a new government. You see the line of ambassadors giving letters of credence. What did Nyanti do? did maybe because it's your lady?
Yeah.
Women get this sort of magic touch. You have first time in my lifetime to have more than 7 ambassadors line up.
So the total was actually 13 ambassadors.
So
we
how
did it in 2 days.
How did you do that?
Well, so in fact, some
Did
of
you
them were
ask them,
pending.
please come, or what did it find you?
No, I think it's also borders on stability. When people see a country is stable, a lot of ambassadors, Liberia has bilateral relations with several countries.
But we've had that before.
And
Why they couldn't come?
We've had that before. Some have been here. But with these, sometimes ambassador, their tenure ends, and then as another tenure ends, another one comes in. So apparently those ones ended, with the former government or even prior to. And then some places they've been, in fact, there's some countries who were also in transitions. But I can say the bigger picture here is we have a very hardworking foreign ministry team led by Minister Sarah Besloyanti. I can tell you because for the short time we've worked together, I've seen her stays up very late, wakes up early, moves around, and as we speak, there's ongoing foreign affairs, Ministry of Finance, and other stakeholders meeting happening currently at the ministerial complex. And she's a mover. In fact, the last visit that we had in Korea, with other presidents, you could see foreign ministers, connecting with her, speaking with her. I can tell you she's a mover. She's someone who's ready and willing to carry on the president's foreign affairs agenda, particularly on our foreign policy. She's been able to bring in a lot of people. I mean, a lot of conversations been happening, and yes, she's really moving. And at the end of the day, with all these different, in fact, what has happened since those presentations, some countries, we can do a lot with them. They've been able to tell us that they're interested in investing in certain areas. I've seen that there have been a couple of meetings with the Saudis. Saudis have been one of Liberia's longtime partners, Rwanda, Zambia, and others who've presented their credence, recently. So, I mean, it just tells us that we have a serious government in place. And this is not to take anything away from others, but it tells you that the country is stable, that countries are looking to come in. In fact, one of the things that's also happening within our foreign affairs angle is some of the countries who do not have embassies here, we're having serious conversation to establish missions here, and also establishing Liberian missions in those countries to elevate the bilateral relationships.
Thank you. Can we take our second break, and when we come back, call us on those numbers on 0777 Jose Nyumah Boakai's team, exactly 6 months in office, and Kula has given you a lengthy of what they've accomplished. What is your view? Call us on those numbers right after the break.
After being in the business for more than 20 years, Uptown Garage has all it takes to make your car work best for you. Uptown Garage has all sizes of quality tires. We also have the efficient and long-lasting Uptown batteries. Uptown Garage also have a state-of-the-art 2023 upgraded diagnoser that can easily detect and fix any problem with your car. Is your car having any electrical problem? Or is it the air conditioner? Well, Uptown Garage has a professional electrician who is up to the task of programming and solving all electrical problems on your car. Uptown Garage is at the intersection of Broad and Nelson Streets with the Uptown Spare Parts Store on Broad Street. We also have our garage and showroom at Rehab for original spark plugs from Japan, oil filters, engine oil, and everything you need to get your car working perfectly. Come to Uptown Garage. We'll give you 1 month warranty. Uptown Garage also have a tow truck that can tow your car anywhere for a fee. Contact Uptown Garage headquarters on 0777 553317, 0886 553317, or our rehab branch on 0770 902865. Uptown Garage, your 100% Liberian-owned business, is here to put a smile on your face.
Hey, Tanu, what happened to you so?
Julie, I worry. I need to pay McDonald's school fee first thing tomorrow morning. And today is Sunday. I finish and get worse.
But there's no problem there at all. It's possible you can still pay it tomorrow.
Lord, I tell you, I'm not level. I'm not joking. If you can't help me, just leave me alone.
Yeah, I can help you. Let me ask you, have you heard about EcoBank money emergency number?
You say what? Just leave me alone. I'm telling you, I need to pay my money tomorrow morning first thing. And then be open way 9 o'clock. They can't help me.
But you're not even going to the bank, Tanu. All you have to do is to dial *326# and request for 50% of your salary. You will pay EcoBank back within 30 days, and the interest are only 3%. The money will be sent to your account in a minute, and you can use your ATM card to withdraw it from any EcoBank ATM.
Dalame, you mean I'll get it the same day?
Oh yes, instantly. I mean in a minute. But to you, EcoBank that baby.
I say so.
Oh, I beg you, yeah. EcoBank can make things happen sharp. For any money emergency, just dial *326# to help yourself out.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thank you very much. You're back on 50/50 on the Monday morning on Sky 107.1 FM. Our special studio guest is Kula Fofana. She is the press secretary of the President of the Republic of Liberia. 6 years, 6 months in office. and she's itemized. GMB signature project is the roads, and we've seen that coming to a little bit of fruition of that, the realization of that people now, amount of testimonials are coming from the Southeast, the worst hit since the war. One day's time in 5 or 6 hours, they in Monrovia, that was their accomplishment. This long-awaited war crime court, which has haunted Liberia for rack of ages, is something that we can look at today. It will be established. GMB has conducted, is in the process of conducting audits to give him a view of what is happening in our country, the state of where we are. And you will not believe it, he has the wealthiest person talking to them on the development of Liberia. Those are the things they've done in 6 months. Not 6 years, though, because 6 years' time, GMB will be out of there, I hope. And I will see whether I will take part in that election, whether I will run to be president. Sometimes when you try to run a president who has successfully exercised his duty, it's easy for you. But when you have a president who is difficult, people judge you from that perspective. So do you believe what they said that they have accomplished? So call us on those numbers on 07777 You'll be live from 5050 on Sky 107. Let's go to the line. Talk to our very first caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Tim Max. My name is Frank Gibson, and I call from Paris.
Frank, I know you want me to tell you what you just about to say?
No.
You're gonna tell me?
Now.
I know you were telling me that I'm not doing anything at all. Go ahead.
No, they have done many things.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I've been knowing you from the days of DC 101 in the late 90s. I've been knowing you. You are a very aggressive journalist when it comes to interview. But today, I'm disappointed you have a stage interview with the presidential press secretary. Tim, before I ask Kula my questions, how much do the governor or George Weah use in the mop-up exercise?
Is my question or what?
No, I'm asking you this question before I get to my question to your studio guest. How much did George Weah use in the mop-up exercise?
I don't ask a question for people. I ask questions.
Okay, you ask question. Okay. I know what is running in your mind and what is running in your studio guest, but it's 25 million. Why it is true that document shows that the government used 70 million. The government of President Boakai used 22 million to buy red dye and put it on the roads in Liberia. Now,
you want
the
me to
president of the Republic of Liberia.
You want me to answer?
President of Liberia.
You want me to answer that for you when I have the minister of
no, you say,
the minister of
no, you say you cannot ask questions. We are done with that.
I'm giving you what you told me. You told me when I brought him here regarding the $22 million that for what I used to call moving the potter from the road. You said no, T-Max, I didn't use $22 million. I used $8.9 million. The rest is kept. So
definitely, the Crow report and the RT report confirmed that the government of Liberia used 17.5 million in the mobile exercise. But everywhere Liberia goes, even the United Party said, John, we are using 25 million. But that's not the point, Max. The president of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, first on a report told the Liberian people on this day, the 22nd of July, 10,000 young Liberians would have graduated from technical schools, IT school. They have been well trained. Today, on this day, the first 6 months of the government, 10,000 young Liberians would have graduated and they're doing those trainings. Has that been done, Madam Press Secretary?
No, but let me
wait,
my friend and brother, let me ask you. You think there would have been a good education for somebody to graduate from IT school in 6 months?
I'm not the one that said it, Timas. It is the president of the Republic of Liberia. It is the president of the Republic of Liberia, Joseph Nyumah Boakai said, in the first 6 months, 10,000 Liberians would have been trained and graduated from IT school. I'm not the one that said it. I'm not the one that wrote it here sooner. He said it, and he's the president, and that was a policy statement. That has not happened. We have not had one single young Liberian who have graduated for any IT school in the last 6 months. So that's a lie. The presidential president can address that. But before I drop the line, the issue of President Boakai speaking to the billionaire is welcoming. That's also will bring help to the Liberian people if that's you a good fruit. But this is not the first time. We saw the $5 billion memorandum of understanding that was signed between Liberia and XPH. Up to date, nothing has happened. We saw what President Weah. But Madam Press Secretary, or generally asked you the other time, why did President Weah Boakai did not inaugurate the runabout. And you said President Boakai is not there to inaugurate small projects. Yet the same president inaugurated a police booth. A police booth. The size of the police booth and that of the roundabout, which one is bigger, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam Gibson. Thank you very much. Let's go to line 4. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
Okay, thank you very much, Timas. My name is Darius Pawon and I call from Central Moravia.
Go ahead, Darius.
Okay, I'd like to say good morning to the Madam Secretary. You know, President Boakai being facing for this country. I think it's a leader that came of transformation, and the transformational project of President Boakai is on the way. I think it's clearing. So those who come to criticize, I heard somebody talking about 10,000 youth. Yes, that project is already started. I think those youth have already been recruited, and the process is on the way for them to start their classes. So President Boakai has done a lot of things, and we want to commend him. The first time in history since the Southeast, I don't know how many years, for people to fly on the road freely, and it's on record that country has not been voting for president. I'm saying for the Unity Party, they're always there behind their own president. Strangely, on the contrary, he used to pass through articles to access that part of the country. But today, the people are celebrating President Boakai, and there are a lot of things President Boakai is implementing: the rule of law, education, health, and all of that. So we want to commend him. The transformation project has begun, and like the rest, want to tremendously be transform, and the people are going to appreciate him. The legacy will be remembered.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Call me on that number on 0777 777 You'll be live from 5050 on Sky 107. Better stay use our Facebook page, Sky Communications Liberia. Let's go back to line 3. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, my sister. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
My name is D. Ward.
The great D. Ward, fair day.
And I tell to my daughter is today. Yakune. I'm a global woman, but I'm married to a family. You know what I want to tell you, my child? The Ghana man say, "Oh, Ayadi, you have done well." You know, these things here, when you're saying it, people who then do it, they want for us to do the same thing. No. It won't be business as usual. Things will have to change. And when things change, we should praise God. Look at the kind of people that are coming into this country, and more will come. What I want to say, you see what the president saying? When they're ready to have things like meetings, they will not just sit in Monterrey. They will go to the 0 counties to ask the youth. What do you want for us to do? Our grandfather talking. You will not just take something and just do it on your own. Then you can't say, "Oh, I didn't." No, let the children get involved. So tomorrow, so they can say, "Oh, well, our government when they can't ask anything," because in some of their counties, they need something that will benefit them, but they do not have anybody to talk for them. So I want to tell you, thank you, my child. Any good in your door, people ain't want for anything good to come for all Liberia. This too is Liberia. I want to tell you, thank you. Bless you, my papa. Don't forget about the think tank over here. We are the think tank. You can remember we used to have meeting. Don't forget about us. Thank you and have a blessed day, my daughter. Let God bless
Thank you very much. Thank you, D-Ward. Thank you very much. Call me on that number on 0777 107. Let's go back to line 1. Talk to our next caller. Good morning. Good morning, my brother. What's your name and where are you calling me from? Marvin, go ahead.
I'm listening to her for what she said. But you honestly show you care. If what I'm nothing was working in what I'm the only thing I'm working in the country is freedom of speech. Yes, it's good. So all the thing when you're just talking in the studio there, if she got to defend the president before, she just spoke worthy of the president. So I would like to tell the video that nothing is working in the country. Your question is more, nothing working. Actually, nothing working. You're just passing people randomly. reaching the conclusion, and you going over and say, oh, everything is working. Nothing is working, Tima. You know, Tima. Don't know say that because on your show and you there you party, but Tima, nothing is working. So Tima, let me tell you, nothing is working. Just nothing. People around here, people dying. When it rains, you see cars stop in the box. Brother say, when they look out, stop in the box for working. Soon every one the back, go back. So Tima, nothing is working. The only thing that working, if what the only thing that working is what the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech, but nothing is working, Tima.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Call me on that number 077777107. You be live from 5050 on Sky 107. Let's go back to line 4. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kimia, good morning.
And thank you for the studio guest. I think he has spoken well in the direction. We are feeling the golden structure. There's Zopera in Nigeria. He said that the road is they are really working. He was a citizen. So we need realize to talk about Nigeria. In the Chiesa company, the CDC government reduced the cost for 47 minutes. But right now, put a dollar in, you get 90 minutes and connecting you to other Chiesa companies. So they are working well. And they are receiving criticism. On the other, you couldn't have the naked you before the embassy. So you are doing well. So we welcome that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Call me on that number 0777. Let's go back to line 2. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Tim Max.
Hey, Kazo, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And let me say good morning to Kula Institute today. And thank you very much for everything. Tima, my expectation for GNB and the GNB government has never dropped. Just like from the day we were campaigning for him. For some of us who sat in meeting with him at least once or twice, we know the person he is. We know exactly what he stands for. And I just want to make one recommendation to Kula, and I hope she can take it to either him or the ministers of agriculture and of commerce. There are many Liberians now who are investing in the agriculture sector. The rules are pliable. But Tima, you being a banker, you know very well that our market is very small. And when the market is small, it gives those who are actually producing the producer, they give them tough time, because when you do not have the market and you produce the goods and other stuff and there is no one to buy it, especially for goods that are, that depreciate over time, you become the loser and sometimes you get discouraged. I've seen some farmers now are trying to take that trend because they are producing their goods and service, their goods, and they notice that the market is very little. So can the Ministry of Commerce and Agriculture put in place a mechanism where maybe they can buy back some of those goods and commodities from the producer, like those perishable goods, like pepper, cucumber, watermelon, so that when they buy them, the Commerce Ministry can, in turn buy it from them and onward sell it, or create a means of border trade, so that our goods can be taken across the border much easily and have people coming in from across the country. Since we have a very small economy, to help to boost our farmers so that they don't get discouraged. If that can happen, we will be happy and things will be better for us. But I can assure you, GNB government has not dwindled. And the Liberian people, they are yet to see nothing. They haven't seen anything. In the next 3 years, the differences will be felt all over Liberia. Everywhere you go, you hear his name on that list. Thank you very much, Kula, and thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to line 5. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. What's your name, please?
I'm Eric.
Go ahead, Eric.
I'm going from Fire School. My brother, people cannot praise the government and you sit by idly without doing something. We believe that in the agriculture sector, things are moving. We are putting programs in place and we are setting obstacles. Like my brother was talking about businesses. We are putting the consumer cooperatives into place where we will be able to engage government to process commodities, food stuff, to stabilize prices. Are we talking without doing anything? Is that helpful? So the government can work with a pressure around the government to implement its program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take the last 2. Let's go back to the line. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, my brother. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
Thank you for giving me, Mr. Grater, for opportunity now. For the benefit of the public around Cal Abraham Jr. And I'm following the conversation I use for my office for the car web there, which is my comfortable again. And this is what is to Madam Kula Fofana. There's a team here. I want to tell Madam Kula Fofana, thank you very much for supporting us and the executive pastor as presidential secretary to President Joseph Nyumah Boakai Sr. Overall, it is so surprising to us to see Madam Kula Fofana to the executive pastor as presidential secretary for this government before we know very well a role in the President Boakai administration when that was protected for very well. So, the only thing I have to tell Madam Kula Fofana we are following the conversation every day. We are following with your every day at the executive council. Overall, we are supporters of the United Party. We are in our trust. I got give you all the necessary information to Nigeria who voted President Joseph Nyumah as president of this country.
Thank you very much. Our time is running. Kula, can you come? Can we take one more? The last caller. Okay. Good morning. I'm not hearing you, please. Good morning. Your line is terrible. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, the line is bad. It's bad. Kula, can you comment on the concerns of the callers?
Right. So let me say thank you to all the callers and to the last energetic and enthusiastic caller in his keke. I wish we could hear his last point, but thank you. Thanks for the enthusiasm. And all those who have been speaking on behalf of the president in your community, the president you voted for. I can tell you President Boakai is the same President Boakai. It's the same Joseph Nyumah Boakai from day one, and he's committed to transforming Liberia. On the question that were raised on the issue of ribbon cutting, what the president did do in terms of the police booth, there's a whole process, there's a whole conversation around the different plans that the police has and on that specific booth. In fact, when you go to places, you go to other developed countries, you see in intersections, you see smaller, in fact, very smaller than what we have here in Liberia booth. In America and other places, you have police booths around. So the whole idea was the safety of pedestrians and to let them know that this police is the citizen-based police that will be there to help, and the booth is also there to regulate traffic. And it was not just one. Yes, the one was symbolic, but there are several of them according to the heads of police that will be all across the country, but more so to regulate traffic, where there will be camera system placed and all of those. So the cutting of ribbon at that place at 72nd Boulevard Junction was the beginning of a long-term process for the different safety for pedestrians and drivers alike on that police, so it was not just a tiny police booth, but there was more. So if you travel to other places, you'll see even smaller police booth in places, and that was one. And yes, I'm very clear, and the president is very clear on projects that he intends to dedicate, must be project that will benefit that major project, and the police project is a major project on safety and regulation. In fact, that whole process was also part of these regulations that you see helmet wearing, and you see a lot of these, going across the country. We have to be able to have a country of law and order, and that all of us who want a better Liberia to make sure we regulate ourselves, we abide by the rules and regulations in relation to the police. On the question of the 10,000 youth, what the president did say, the president did not say students will be graduating from IT schools all across the country. But what the president said was the 10,000 youth IT program is something under the LTA, the Liberia Telecommunications Authority. And this is a training program to be able to help young people, 10,000 young people for the first 6 months, who are able to learn skills in the internet connectivity industry where they're able to connect businesses and other people. And I can tell you that training is ongoing. And young people have registered. In fact, even there were more than 10,000 young people when the application process was open who are currently, in the process, like one of the callers mentioned. Someone talked about the issue of civil servants who were fired or whatnot, or that they've been witch hunt. I can tell you, when the government came into power, the government met a bloated civil servant system where there were too many people in offices that they were there not doing anything, and then government has something called supplementary payroll that the government couldn't sustain. So you just brought people. There are people. You got two people in one office, and then no space. Places were just overcrowded, and there are places that people who are not on the civil service right now. The president is committed to having a systematic civil service where people are employed, people talents are used so that they themselves can be productive. So all of what you see of recent, in fact, there are people who are on payroll, but the people who put them on payroll are taking their pay and they get very little. And some people who have never been to job, but they're taking salary. So there are many issues. Even there's quote unquote ghost name that have been on payroll. This is something that's currently happening. There's a clearing process going on, and people who supposed to serve, people who, and the president have said continuously that CDC or UP or Liberians, at the end of the day, we're all Liberians, and all Liberians need to get a job. All Liberians need to be gainfully employed, and nobody is being witch hunted. Everybody people who go through the process and are available to serve will be allowed to serve. On the issue of rule of law, yes, again, I just mentioned on the issue of rule of law, please let us all work together on the rule of law issues. Finally, T-Max, I wanted to talk about the president, especially within this context of the 26th, as the president started. This week will be celebrating Liberia's 177th independence celebration, and President Boakai have been consistent on coordination. He started off by having a coordinating meeting with the legislature, members of the legislature, as well as the judiciary, talking about all of those issues, because he believes that a government can work well when the three branches coordinate. And as you know, part of the constitution is that the country has three branches of government. They're separate but coordinate. And he's really been taking forward this coordination very seriously. In addition, he's had meetings with different groups. The young people, he had a young people meeting during the course of the weekend. He also had, as we speak today, he's going to be meeting with the Muslim community. He had a meeting with the Christian community yesterday after the ceremony, the official prayer service at the Liberty Center. There was a meeting at the Plainsville Town Hall with the leadership of the Christian community. He's also having a meeting with the leadership of the Muslim community. He also going to have, all these different engagement he's had with the young people. He's going to have it with the women, So at the end of the day, for him, he wants to make sure that the development of the country is across, it's cross section. So even with the women, they're all civil society and every different sector of the society. So I can tell you safely that Liberia is in the good hands with His Excellency Joseph Boakai Sr.
So to summarize, what have you done in 6 months?
To summarize what we've done in 6 months, we've done road, which is road that are passable and people are going on there. We've started the process of agriculture, engaging in that. We're trying to open up the country on the diplomatic side. He's done a lot of engagement in terms of audit. He's doing a lot. He's received some audit reports so far, and he's reviewing those audit reports. And at the end of the day, he will be taking some decisions on them. He's setting up the country in a way where we all, at the end of the day, can see that Liberia will get better.
How long do we wait to see that reflected on the dining room table?
Oh, trust me, during the entire course of the president's presidency, you will see in every given time, starting now, those changes will take place. The War Crimes Code Office is set up. Food, the agriculture team working. Rice price that works in the woods to ensure that they go down. In fact, just yesterday, on Saturday, they had this whole Made in Liberia section at the Monrovia City Hall where you had goods and materials. Every area, every sector, they have people who brought the goods, agriculture and whatnot. It tells you that Liberians are actually getting ready. They are no longer, or they will no longer be quote unquote spectators. They're ready to move and be the drivers of the economy.
Thank you, Kula, for responding and accepting our invitation to give us the report card of your 6 months in office. Now, let me read for you today's edition of the editorial with the caption, Lawmakers, not noisemakers, a caution to members of the House of Representatives. In a manner that is self-indicting and far from being evocative of the general commitment to the business of lawmaking, members of the House of Representatives of the 55th National Legislature regularly violate their own rules and disrupt sections when key national debates are before that august body for discussion. Regularly, plenary becomes so noisy that Speaker Fanatic Kofa loses control while asking lawmakers for silence. Even when witnesses, mostly cabinet officials, are invited and seated before them, members interrupt proceedings with noise that lasts indefinitely. Even the speaker's gavel at times becomes powerless. One notable instance occurred during the recent appearance of top government officials, including the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Honorable Sylvester Graceman, and Minister of State without portfolio, Mama Ability, to discuss the government's acquisition of 285 earth-moving equipment. This was a critical issue that the public eagerly anticipated via various Facebook live feeds, especially amid criticism from some lawmakers who questioned the procurement process. Instead, lawmakers disrupted the section, prompting call from Representative Thomas Goshua of District Number 5, Grand Bassa County, for the Speaker to enforce the House's rules and take action against those disrupting the section. We do not believe that lawmakers are paid millions of taxpayers' money just to assemble and make noise, especially when critical issues are before them for discussion. To put it plainly, members of the 55th National Legislature are becoming an embarrassment, not only to Liberia, but also to democracy as a form of government. In the eyes of the citizens whose taxes sustain the lawmakers for 6 years, the repeated disruptive action of the lawmakers starkly illustrate how they shrink their responsibilities of making laws for our society. This is an embarrassment. The sad fact remains that they could have done much more if they had devoted their time to the business of lawmaking, oversight, and representation for which they were elected into national legislature. For Liberians, this attitude of lawmakers is a sad reminder of the need for them to be more careful about those they elect to represent them. To have effective representation that will better their lot, Liberians must choose those with the right qualities, those who understand and have the capacity for the record of lawmaking and will contribute to national development and improve the lives of the citizens. The current set of representatives should see the attitude of their predecessor as a shame that should never be brought upon Liberians again. The country's dire situation requires lawmakers who are genuinely committed to finding solutions to problems and making life worth living for citizens. Members of the 55th National Legislature must be true agents of change for good. That's the end of today's editorial from the front page newspaper today edition with the caption, Lawmakers, not noisemakers, a caution to members of the House of Representatives. And now we come to the end of this edition of 50-50. My name is Tim Max. Thank you, Kula, for responding to our invitation. And thank you for being part and parcel of this 50-50 edition. Tomorrow morning, I'll be here again to discuss another issue, or making sure that Liberia is a wholesome functioning society where we all have a part to play. See you today. Bye-bye.